In the last video, we completed the pond and released 3 tiny goldfish in the water, Mr. Brown, Cam, and Tusat. Like with any natural system, death is part of the game, but we didn't expect the first occurrence to happen so quickly.
Got it. The first food eating. Hey! You get it?
Yeah. Oh, it's looking for more, Jamie.
Yeah, I know.
That's it. It seemed like they were getting used to their new space. Then the wildfire smoke came. We hid indoors for a few days, and so did the fish. This is the last footage I have of the 3 of them together.
I think Mr. Brown might be gone. I haven't seen him in like 2 days.
Rest in peace, Mr. Brown. We hardly knew ya. We had some flagstone left over from a previous project. I laid them out by the pond to see what it would look like.
A wooden deck would feel a little cleaner, almost more inviting to just sit on, like lay out like a yoga mat or something, like who knows.
So we're ditching the flagstone for a wooden deck. In a climate with cold winters, a deck needs to be sitting on at least 6 inches of crushed gravel. Otherwise, it will shift and move from the severe freeze and thaw cycles. In the meantime, we start testing the water to make sure that our 2 remaining fish are happy and healthy.
pH we're at 8.2 and phosphate we're at 2 parts per million. This is activated charcoal.
To remove unwanted nutrients from the water, we need the help of plants.
So much for our clear pond.
This marsh marigold will be the first thing to get planted in the bog. And then sweet flag, arrowhead, lizard's tail, and mare's tail. This exposed soil can also be a source of unwanted nutrients for the pond. We picked some shade-loving plants to help prevent runoff. In the meantime, dozens of dragonflies had started hanging around the pond. And then one morning after a rain, as I looked at the dragonflies and the fish, I heard something. His name is Waldo, because he's very good at hiding in plain sight. This pond is getting very exciting. We need somewhere to sit and watch the theater of life unfold. I decided that the shape of the deck was too curved and too complicated, so I enlisted the help of a woodworker. So Jamie here is going to lead the construction. I have no idea how she's going to pull it off, but Jamie has a plan to make the deck curve around the organic outline of the pond. My instructions were to create a cardboard template of the shape, which took me a few tries to get right. This template was transferred to the framing material and then cut on the bandsaw. Even though the framing material was rated for ground contact, we did not want it sitting right on soil. We could not remove the strip of soil because it was supporting the pond liner. But what we could do was dig out a few inches from the top and replace that with gravel. This is perfect. We laid the cedar deck boards on top of the frame and positioned them so they loosely follow the outline of the pond. And while this work goes on, a second frog has moved in. Based on the throat color, this one is a female, the companion that Waldo has been waiting for.
And the whole point of this is to get really nice fair curves.
This fair curve was then traced with a pencil and cut with a jigsaw. For a finishing touch, Jamie used a router to soften the edge. While she cut and routed, I applied butyl tape to the top of the frame. This will help with water management and make the frame last longer. Jamie also glued up some cedar laminations to add as a veneer to the front of the deck. 1,000,000 screws later, we had a solid, curvy, beautiful deck. It would be a shame to rebuild this beauty without doing some landscaping around it first, so I guess I'm not done lifting rocks yet. It turns out that all the boulders and all the dirt that I moved building this pond improved my rock climbing strength. So not only do I have a nice pond, but now I can climb a grade higher at the gym. And then some fresh wood chips for the dog run and the garden beds, and we're close to the finish line.